What is going on, you lovely people? It's your boy Rover Queen. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing good. And as always, I am joined by my lovely, scrumptious, delicious, sexy as fuck, and handsome homeboys. Fellas, please reintroduce yourself to the people, starting with Steph.
Hello, it's me again. I'm Stef. I am kind of the newbie on the topic, so I'm here to get educated on whatever the hell was going on. But I mean, it's great to be back. It's always fun to be here. AJ's here with us too, and it's gonna be fun. Quintin's supposed to be here, right?
Yeah, he's gonna pop in at some point.
All right, okay. But yeah,
Uh,
no, I mean, it's gonna be fun.
Word. AJ, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, as always, I'm AJ. It's been a minute. Good to be back. I think this is the first stream of 2025 that I'm on. I
Oh
think
shit,
I'm not 100% sure.
I
Yeah,
think it might
yeah, it
be.
is.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Word, man. It's always good to have you brothers here. It's always good to have you brothers here. But listen, we're here for a special reason. And by the way, yes, no politics, just comics will happen for sure this weekend. Y'all know it's Valentine's Day. We all got shit going on. So yeah, we're just gonna move things around. But the Jon Kent news came out, so this is dedicated specifically to that. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump right in. All right. So it's been a week. It's been a couple days, a good couple days since this news dropped. Um, so I'm gonna give full context here. So there was an article that came out from Bleeding Cool that said the word from I forgot the name of the con was that DC was renaming Jon Kent from Superman to Supersons, and allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because nobody, this is not coming out from any official channels. Allegedly, that is because James Gunn doesn't want to cause any confusion between what's happening in his Superman Legacy movie and what's happening here with Jon Kent, which we will get to later. So I'm gonna start off by saying this. I know I fuck with Bleeding Cool. All right. I'm always gonna be grateful for Bleeding Cool for putting me on a fucking comic book tabloid site. That was my first major look. All right. First major look. And y'all know why I was on there. So we're not gonna talk about that right now. We're here to talk about Jon Kent. But with that said, I don't know if I buy this is one of the times I would rather James Gunn come out and say I made this decision versus Rich coming out and saying James Gunn made that decision. I don't know if I buy it completely that James Gunn made that change because for all we know, this could have been this is part of what's going to happen with John. This could have just been a natural thing. The story would have called for him to be called Super Son anyways instead of Superman. So I don't know if I believe 100% that it's because of James Gunn. So I want to put that there. And second of all, like I said, no official channels has said this besides Bleeding Cool. Bleeding Cool put the article out, and per usual, like the internet does, everybody ran with it. Everybody ran with it. So with that said, with that basis there, let's discuss. So AJ, what are your thoughts on this name change?
Um, a few things. One, I don't know if I necessarily believe it's because of Gunn either. It's definitely going to happen, and yeah, it makes sense when for synergistic purposes. Hey, the character being called Superman in the comics needs to be the Superman that we're about to put out a big budget film about. Or the only character in the comics being called Superman needs to be that character. So from that point, I get it. It makes sense. I'm not sure it didn't come down from editorial, as opposed to Gunn. Gunn, his name's going to get more clicks. Rich has to do what Rich has to do for his site. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And no harm, no foul. It's nothing salacious or anything about behind the reason for the name change. So I it's absolutely happening. I want to say I completely buy that. But yeah, the reasoning behind it, I'm not necessarily convinced that it was Gunn or any other parties at DC Studios mandated that. Trying to see how I want to say this. They don't know what to do with Jon, and we're not here to relitigate the whole aging up thing again, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it does stem back to, hey, okay, we're gonna do this thing. What's the plan for this character afterwards? And while Bendis may have had a plan, he had him with the Legion for a bit, or he was gonna have him with Legion. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I think he did. He was for a little bit.
He did have him with him. Okay, I was right. There was no plan for the character, what the pivot was going to be once DC decided, hey, we're not going to continue with Bendis's plan. Because you see they tried to shift it a bit with when Taylor came in.
Mm-hmm.
He was the main Superman on Earth. You had Clark off on Warworld. But there was never really any concrete thing like, oh, this is going to be the main Superman title, but it wasn't. Oh, Jon's the Superman of the DC universe, but he's not the only one. There's never been any kind of plan, so this just reeks of more of that. I will say Nicole Maines being the one to shepherd it. We've sung her praises on this channel for a while now. If I have faith in anybody at DC being able to get them right now, it's going to be her.
Mm-hmm.
She's proven herself to be capable over the past year and a half or so. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. But it just kind of strikes me as more of them just not knowing what to do with Jon, and they don't want to shelve him for a bit. She's supposed to be moving him to Frisco, so we'll see what comes of that. Change of scenery might be best for the character at the moment, kind of get him on, because the Super family has always been big, but it's kind of overbearing at the moment right now. He's not going to have much time to shine in Metropolis, so get him other side of the country, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I'm not surprised that this change is happening.
Steph, what about you? You had some thoughts about the name. I need to hear your thoughts, please.
All right, I'm gonna say this as nicely as I can.
You don't have to be nice here, brother.
I know, but I like being nice. I'm thoroughly bored by being rude, snarky. All right, I'm just gonna say this as nicely as I can. This name fucking blows, man. It's such a dog shit stupid name. I'm sorry. It really is. It's just dumb. I don't.
No, the name is dumb.
I don't. Here's the thing. When there's obviously this whole argument about how old he should be and whatever, like age up, age down, like whatever that is. When son does not inherently mean child, but there is kind of like an inherent connotation. Like when you hear the word son in your head, when you're talking about like a person, you kind of go to like a small kid, right? Like when you think of somebody, like when you think of somebody's son, you're more than likely not going to think about like a 24-year-old or whatever. So it just kind of sounds like he's a kid. Like it just sounds like that, but he's like he's not. Right? It's just weird. Like it's accurate because he is Superman's son or whatever. But if you're gonna age him up, don't give him a name that kind of just makes him sound like a kid.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like if he stayed a kid, then I guess it would be fine. But like when you hear Superson, it's like a fucking like early morning like Nicktoons like kid show. It's like fucking there's like a Batwheels show where like all the cars are alive and Batman's like fucking basement or something. It's like one of those. Right? That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the name you'd give him if you were like making like a show for 3-year-olds about like Superman's kid being like a small kid and like making and like doing one of those things, like some backyardigans shit. I don't know. But like I'm just saying, like that's the vibe that like that name gives off. So it's like it being attributed to like a grown man. is just weird. I don't know, but it makes sense that they change it at least. Right? Like it makes sense that they give him a different name other than Superman.
Yeah,
but like I just think like this is not the one. I don't know what I would name him, but like I don't know about this specific name, but I don't think this was like the wrong idea, I guess.
Okay, I guess I can give my thoughts about this. For me personally, I think naming him, I think that's just something you would name Jon in passing. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of like if one of like his villains or like kind of like one of the Justice League's acquaintances was just like hanging around, was like, oh, the Superson. It's something you say in passing. You know what I'm saying? Because they would say, oh, son of Kal-El's. Like it's something in passing. It's like one of those, because how it's kind of like, oh, the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Or the son of Batman or something like that. Like one of like those other aliases, not aliases, but you're like another alternative name, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those things. And that's what this is. It's nothing really that deep when you think about it. But when you put it in a headline,
yeah,
that way it gets blown up out of proportion. You see what I'm saying? Because we all know, like, he's the son of Superman. You see what I'm saying? We know he's the son of Superman. Like, and I don't think really people had an issue of him being called Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like, at this point, you just gotta expect it from DC. You gotta expect it. Like, we have a whole nigga running around, a black man that's being called Batman right now. Like, I don't see what's the problem of just like it. I don't see the issue. You know what I'm saying? Whether you stuck with Superman or you stuck with whatever the fuck this is, I don't think it's that deep. But when you spin it the way Rich has, and I'm gonna give Rich credit because he knows how to get the streets buzzing, bro. He knows the internet, bro. He knows comic books Twitter. He does what I wish I had the energy to do every single day, but I don't have that energy anymore to just piss them off. Salute to him. But in all honesty, I don't think it's that big of a deal. We would have, if this wasn't a headline, we would have saw this in the solicits, and we wouldn't have blinked twice at it. That's how I know it's nothing serious. That's how I know. Well, that's how I can guess that this probably didn't come from James Gunn. This was probably something, I don't know. Rich probably was low on the analytics, and he needed something to drive clicks. I was like, oh, well, me and Stef just had this conversation literally like 2 weeks ago. Who's the guy that everybody seems to have an issue with? Who's the guy that can't keep himself out of online situations? Oh, James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn. So, of course, it makes sense to say, even though you don't have concrete proof, because it's James Gunn. Of course, that's what this. But in all honesty, this isn't news. This isn't news at all. Like, and we'll go to this later, but if you didn't care about Jon Kent, the only thing that did for you, or the only thing this did for you, was just made you regurgitate the same conversations again. Oh, Bendis did this. He shouldn't have been de-aged. We've been having these same conversations since the nigga got aged up. It's 2025. It's 2025. But to circle back, I don't think it's that deep. And I think if this was really something that DC wanted to make publicized, why wouldn't Nicole Maines just say something? Nicole Maines has been on interviews for the past. Am I wrong, AJ? Like,
nah. She's been hitting the podcast and comic news site circuit for a while now. I just don't think it's going to be a big deal in the comics. I think he's going to be like, "Hey, I changed my name." Okay, that's what I think it's going to be.
Yeah, like, that's how I know that this probably wasn't something that was meant to be blown up the way it has. I mean, it's good. What's the shit called? bad press is still press or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
All
guess
press is good press.
all press is good press, especially for this. That's all. Right? So I don't think it's that deep, but again, we'll circle back to the other topics of what conversations this sparked up. But yeah, let's move on because I wish Quintin was here, but I have no problem revisiting this with Quintin. He said he said something about a halftime at that game, so hopefully he can join us. He said halftime just started. Yes, hopefully he can join us. But yeah, so I talked a little bit about it on another stream just by myself, but now that AJ's here and now and also Stef, who's also here to get educated, we can talk about Secret Six like fully. So Jon Kent is joining Secret Six. Secret Six is a classic DC Comics team. I believe it was just comprised of villains. It has a classic lineup. You have Catman. I believe Bane was a part of the team at some point. I forget who the classic lineup is. But long story short, Jon Kent is joining this new iteration of the team. So it's going to be Jon Kent, Jay Nakamura, Catman. Why am I blanking on the names? AJ, who else is going to be on this goddamn team before I look it up?
Black Alice,
Mhm.
Catman, Deadshot, Jon Kent, Dreamer, and Jay Nakamura. I don't know what Jay's hero name is, so if he even has one. But yeah, I think that's the team. Is it one more?
Okay, I got it. It's Catman, Deadshot, Black Alice, and there's going to be Jay Nakamura and Jon Kent and Dreamer.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah. So I like it. DC is starting to bring back old teams and switching them up. So I like this lineup. Is it a little bit of an odd lineup? Sure. Why not? But I think it's a cool premise, and like I said on a couple live streams ago, back when I was with AJ and Elvis, not AJ Elvis, on AJ and Quintin. Yeah, this is more fallout from Absolute Power. So Amanda Waller somehow has disappeared from wherever she was being held, and now they need this team to go and find her. And I guess I'll just give my quick thoughts. We've been theorizing on the eventual Jon Kent heel turn. So I think this is kind of part of that. So we saw with Dreamer back in Suicide Squad, the shit that she had to do to try to one up Amanda Waller. I think this is going to be more of the same, but this time with Jon. I'm going to say right now, I like his new suit or the new suit that he's about to get. I like that this is kind of pushing him in a dark direction. I like that we're finally going to start to see that little love triangle between him, Jay, and Dreamer. And I can't wait to see how he bounces off against some of DC's classic villains. And, I want to see what he's going to do to try to catch Amanda Waller. But I like the Nicole Maines and the artist that they got. I believe it's Segura. I think Segura is a great choice. Oh, excuse me, Segovia. My fault. Yeah. I think Segovia is a great choice. But I want to, AJ, what do you think about this?
I'm like I said, I'm on board with Maines. She's really impressed me over the past, like I said, however long she's been at DC now. She's been impressive because Dreamer was not a character I cared about when I would watch Supergirl occasionally. So, she's completely turned that character into something interesting for me. The Secret Six, I like DC bringing back older teams. Right, we're seeing. Kelly Thompson has brought back the Birds of Prey. They had been gone forever. Secret Six. I find it interesting. Both of those were teams that Gail Simone kind of cut her teeth on. Those are the ones that we brought back, and I'm wondering something there if she got something with them coming up. But that's pure speculation. The big thing I want to see, other than if Jon's gonna potentially turn, the smoke between Jay and Dreamer, because let's call spade a spade. She is directly responsible, or directly had a hand in his mama dying. So and now you put those two people on the team together. I think I think we're gonna have some clashes there, so that will be very interesting to see. Bro, what is even his power set? Now that I think intangibility. That's right.
I don't. I never read. I'm sorry, I didn't read Son of Kal-El.
No, I just had to remember. I think they showed it in absolute power because remember Amanda Waller's nephew. He like kind of timed his time. The dude's phasing right to shoot him right at the moment he went solid.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So some level of intangibility. I don't know how deep it goes. Because yeah, I didn't read Son of Kal-El either. From there, like I said, they gotta hash that out. And I'm not necessarily talking about you come out on the other side and everybody's friends at the end. I don't like nah, dog. That your mom, nah, it's got to be up forever.
Yeah. And that was a brutal death. Like Bizarro threw that bitch out the window, bro.
Absolutely.
Oh, my fault. That's sorry. That was me. My fault.
You good. Now we never saw a body, and this is comics, so I do think it's a pretty good likelihood that she is alive, but he does not know that. So yeah, he's got to be up forever. I'm curious to see more of Deadshot because did we ever get it explained how he was back from the dead?
No.
Like I can't remember. Actually, something with Task Force Z.
Oh no, we saw something in Absolute Power. No, it was Absolute Power or Suicide Squad or one of them. Yeah, he was just back. But
yeah, I think
it was Task Force Z.
Okay.
It was, yeah. It was Task Force Z, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like
the Lazarus something.
Lazarus resin that's still around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm excited to see their dynamic. I also, an assassin on the team with Superman's kid because, like, yeah, he might be starting to turn a bit, but at the end of the day, he's still Clark's kid. So I can definitely see him butting heads with more than a few people on that team, even though the premise of this seems to be, hey, Jon isn't sure that he's a hero anymore. So we're going to see where that goes. I think you're still going to, well, not even I think, we saw it in the pages of Absolute Power. Some of that programming is still left inside of him, what Waller did to him with the Amazos and all that. So that's going to be interesting to see that come forward. Like when they finally do corner Waller, does she have something that a phrase or device or whatever that can kind of activate him and he snaps and does her bidding? Basically, that would be a really cool thing to play with. And then I'm excited to see who are the threats that they're going up against and how does Jon fit into this new reality. Also, I want to see how Clark is gonna feel about. Now I understand, Jon is, for all intents and purposes, a grown man at this point, but like Clark can't take that, well. His son's working with a team of villains. Him going a little closer to the edge. His boyfriend potentially wanting to kill the girl that there might be some feelings towards. I'm just really interested in the actual Superman of it all. How the two of them, how do they deal with what's going on? Lois too, because obviously, his mother. I'm sure she'll have thoughts, but more so, I want to see Clark's reaction to all of this. But I'm excited. It's It's a 6-issue series, or is it an ongoing?
6 issues. Harmless.
6 issues. Yeah. That's right. Because Maine's, for whatever reason, they're not giving her an ongoing yet. Even though I think it's time. She's shown that she can handle this comics writing stuff. But 6 issues. Give me a story with a beginning, middle, and end. Let me see where these 3 are after the book ends. Are relationships the same? Have dynamics changed? Are relationships damaged? And are they damaged irreparably? Like, it's a lot of stuff that she can play with there, and I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm also wondering about the Superman of it all too, because it's like, could I see Superman pop up and be like, "Hey, bro, what the fuck?" Yeah, but also, I think Nicole Maines, at least for now, would want to keep that separate. Kind of just like, John's just doing his own grown man shit, and if whatever they're doing gets leaked out or it becomes a bigger problem, Superman 100% is going to be involved. But we also know that too. He has his hands full right now. Doomsday is running around. So if I'm doing the scales here, I'm like, hey, Doomsday running around, John potentially doing some fuck shit. I'm gonna put Doomsday. Doomsday is a little bit more important. So I could see that being separate, but who knows? That's comics. He could literally just like pop in and pop out. So I am interested to see how that goes. And I think at the end of it all, I know we keep thinking this is going to lead to like a Jon Kent like heel turn. But what I really hope is that at the end of this, like we at least have something different for Jon, right? Because at the end of Suicide Squad, we were looking at Dreamer differently. Me and you, we said, I said in the video, but I said I did not give a fuck about Dreamer. Yeah. I don't care. But at the end of that mini, I was like, I care, give me more, which is why I'm reading Secret 6. I need the same for Jon. Like, this can't be Jon fights the evil version of his dad and he gives him a hug and he fucks off. We're not doing that again.
No more Tom Taylor specials.
No more Tom Taylor after school specials. Tom Taylor saw love. But listen, no more after school specials, brother. Like, I'm not saying after Secret 6, he needs to go and start murking people, blah, 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 blah. But it needs to be defined that, like, this is a different Jon Kent. Like, we at the end of this, we can't keep looking at him as like a pussy pacifies. As a pacifist. We can't look at him like that anymore. That has to change at the end of this. Because if that doesn't, if Jon Kent is not in a different spot after this, then I will get on here and say, DC, maybe it's time for you to DH him. Maybe it's time, because you clearly don't know what you want to do. But I hope at the end of it, we can start to be okay, okay, it's looking different for Jon. Oh, hold on. Jon ain't no bitch anymore. Oh, all right, cool. Now we can start cooking. But that's what I need for this book. And I think Nicole Maines will, because I think people are theorizing that, it's gonna be Jay, that's gonna be like the big villain. That's not interesting. That's not interesting. Like, we know he's mad and he has every right to be. Like I said, Bizarro tossed his mom out the window. Yeet! Like, has every right to be mad. And, Jon is over here catching feelings for the chick. So I'm like, I understand it. But Jay can be mad, but Jon needs to be the one in terms of character progression. He needs to be on top. That's what I need. That's what I want at the end of this book. But just to give you some background, Stef, so you can give you quick thoughts. So listen, Jon Kent got aged up. Everybody mad. They wasn't really doing anything crazy with him. So now there's a new writer, or a fairly new writer at DC, in literally less than a year.
Yeah, Nicole.
Nicole. She has shown that she is not playing. She ain't playing with y'all.
All right.
She ain't playing. Like, whatever you do, you should read Suicide Squad Dream Team.
Yeah, okay.
So read Dream Team, and then this is the same writer that's going to be writing Secret 6. So after Suicide Squad, Dreamer went from a very lovable character, we didn't really care too much, but now Dreamer takes zero shit from nobody.
All right.
So now Jon Kent is in a position to, start to get a little bit more grittier. So upon hearing what we just talked about and knowing a little bit of what you know about the Jon Kent situation, what do you think?
Well, I definitely think it's definitely sounding like a mini that could be really interesting. I was already just kind of passively interested in reading it just because of the fact that like I don't know, it looks cool. Right? Like I just looked at the cover and I looked at the roster and I'm like, I don't know like 5 of these people. So like so I was just kind of thinking like this would be cool to just dive into anyway, but after hearing everything that's going on and like what could happen, it's definitely kind of sold me on reading the book. I definitely do. I mean, I think the idea of like people talk about like evil Superman all the time or whatever, and it's like like it'd be cool like I can't fucking talk. It'd be cool to have like an organically like maybe not evil Superman, but like one that is a lot more of an anti-hero, like somebody who organically just kind of not from like mind control, not from like forces beyond their control or whatever, but like through their own personal sense of whatever they've gone through in whatever they go through in this mini, leading into a more morally questionable super person, I guess. I would definitely be interesting to see how that plays out when it comes to having to deal with him and his family. Seeing how Clark and Lois would probably react to their literal child not being as upstanding as they are. I mean, for a guy who is like it, I mean, it's just like the optics of it, like having somebody who's all like, truth and justice and a better tomorrow, like this, he's not infallible, but he's, very much kind of like like a symbol and, very inspiring in that way to like, for everybody to be like their best person, right? To have a kid who's like a dickhead like this, it'd be nice to see how he deals with that. And how they even cope with that. The fact that this was even capable of being like their kid, right? I definitely think, obviously, this is only like 6 issues, which I mean, I'm cool with. I really like minis, so it doesn't really bother me. But it's like, that kind of stuff is just going to be like set up in this book and not really like explored that heavy, which is fine. But like, if this leads into something where they do something like that, I think that would be definitely pretty cool. I don't really have any thoughts beyond that. It sounds cool. I'll definitely check it out. I've been one of my New Year's resolutions was to like read more non-big two stuff. But I'm definitely going to still put this on the list. I'm definitely putting this on the list. This, and I just read right before I got on. Not to deviate too hard, but I just read like the first 3 issues, like the first mini arc of Dark Patterns, like that new Batman book. It's nice. It's cool.
I've been hearing good things. I'm waiting for it to be done.
It's really good. I mean, like these 3 issues are like, it's just a collection of like 3 issue minis. Like you can just read these 3 and it's cool. But yeah, no, I mean that was really good.
The streets have been talking.
Yeah.
Also, to give you more context, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a prophecy for Jon Kent back when he came back in Rebirth or at the end of New 52.
Okay.
Jon Kent's powers are unstable. At least this was the case when he was a kid before it got aged up. His powers are unstable, and it's theorized that he's going to become a tyrant. Like his powers are just going to go haywire. He's not going to have control, and he's just going to be evil. And before he got aged up, he was kidnapped by Ultraman, the I think I forgot what number Earth it was, but he was kidnapped while he was hanging out with his granddad. He got kidnapped by that Superman.
Yeah. It's Earth 3, right?
Earth 3, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
So he got kidnapped by that Superman. He spent a lot of time with that Superman also, because that's just that Superman is a dickhead. He's the complete opposite of Clark. And then back in, I believe it was Infinite Frontier, which was like the soft reboot a couple of years ago, when the Spectre and Diana was kind of just like going through everybody's stories and seeing what the universe is up to. They landed on Jon Kent grown up, and the Spectre was just like, hey, that one right there, keep your eye on him. keep your eye on him. He's a problem. He's going to be a problem. So there's always been this stuff boiling in the background with Jon that nobody has been able to capitalize on yet, at least probably until now. So yeah, do with that as you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So with that said, we're gonna jump into this. We're gonna jump into this topic, and I'm gonna just start off by saying, on my way to work, on my way here, I was biking from work. I wanted to just let loose on this topic because at this point, this is like beating a dead dog with a stick.
Yeah. Speaking of dogs, not to interrupt, but mine are barking at something. So I'm gonna go deal with whatever that is.
All right, no problem.
Yeah. All right. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So I believe this topic has been beat to death, but also while I was biking, I was like, you know what? Try to be a little bit objective when it comes to this conversation. So I want to let AJ start off with this one. All right. So AJ, ever since Jon Kent got aged up, there's been this big debate on should DC just de-age him again. All right. So I don't want to give my quick thoughts. I want you to start. Give me your honest opinions on this. How do you feel about the age? I know we talked about it when we were doing the theorizing on the Civil War, but take away the Civil War. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I used to want it, right? Like Bendis did what he did. I wasn't a fan of it. Supersons I really enjoyed. I said, hey man, you have decades worth of potential storytelling to tell. Because one of the things that I think a lot of people don't necessarily look at is we all read comics, we love comics. Comics have some of the greatest, most complex storytelling found in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like we're in a time where there are less and less comics for actual kids, man. Like, what is DC doing for kids at this moment on a monthly basis? I'm not talking about a one shot. I'm not talking about the young adult graphic novels. What are they doing for the children in that 6 to 10 age range, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like much. Supersons really can, and it wasn't kiddie. It wasn't like an all ages book, but it gave them heroes who were, closer to their age range, at least on the John side of things. Damian was a couple years older. Well, I think about 3 years older. So, but still, right? I said that's a place where you can give kids something that's simple, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to know a whole bunch of backstory, and that can be a lot of kids' introduction into comics, right? This is the son of Superman. This is the son of Batman. That's all you need to know. Here goes your first comic, kid, and boom. Now you potentially cultivate that child into a lifelong comics fan and reader off of Jon Kent and Damian Wayne. They had a really good dynamic going. So I was upset that we lost that. I don't know if upset is the right word. I just wasn't a fan of us losing that. Then with Bendis doing the age up, not only does he do the age up, but in other books like Superman and whatnot, you're now robbed of a lot of those father and young son moments that
Mhm.
are no longer going to be able to happen because by virtue of John being in a different space in his life. You know that
Mhm.
he came back as a 17-year-old who was shortly turning 18.
Mhm.
So his dynamic with Clark is completely changed. His dynamic with his mother has completely changed.
Mhm.
So you've lost out on that. And for a while, yeah, I wanted like, hey man, wipe this away. Let's take it back. Bendis isn't even here anymore. Let's get him back to being a kid. I realized that they wouldn't do it around the time they decided that hey, Jon Kent going forward is going to be bisexual. I'm like, well, okay,
Mm.
you're not gonna put that on a young kid because then certain groups they'll talk about oh they're writing grooming in the books and all that. So you're not gonna deal with that aspect of it. So now Jon Kent is like he's gonna be squarely stuck as a young adult or teens male. You'll get him in that early 20s phase, maybe in a couple of years.
Mhm.
And anytime you see him younger, it'll be like a one shot. It'll be a flashback, something of that sort.
Mhm.
And I was like, still wasn't happy with it, but I'm like, all right, whatever. Now I'm at the point where, guys, it's just been too long. Um, they have told other stories with John, even though I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of the stuff that has happened with John up until probably until we get to absolute power. Then with between Wade and Maines, I'm liking a little more of that direction. But too much has happened from when Bendis does his thing until essentially last year. That's been what? When did Bendis come? Like 2018 or so.
Yeah, just about.
So you're talking about like 6 years worth of stories, guys. Like too much has happened. Some good, more bad, but it's happened. It's too much stuff to just walk back at this point. So I feel like it would be pointless to um, turn back so much of John's development that much, and also because the dynamic between John and Damien won't be the same anymore.
Yeah.
Like Damien has gotten older now too. Like he's at the point where I don't know if you're caught up on Batman and Robin, and I still haven't read like the last two issues, but I've seen stuff where it's like, hey, he's telling Bruce, hey, he wants to go out on his own. He don't even really want to be Robin anymore. I think they're having some
Mhm.
issues
Mhm.
right now, but like Damien, like he got him to is she or isn't she his girlfriend? Like Damien is moving on, growing up. Now I hate that the two of them don't interact as much anymore, but you don't necessarily have to have them be young for that to happen.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I just think too much has gone on. I'm always gonna be a fan of Supersons. I've got that Omni on my bookshelf if I ever need to pull it out and reminisce. I've got the one shots that they've done. I've got the it's just I still have my Super Sons books, my Super Sons stories, right?
Mhm.
Can't take that away from me. I can always go back and reread that stuff. Just at this point, too much has happened. Just let John continue on this path that he's going. Now, I think they need to um maybe I don't know, maybe tighten up on his path some
Mm.
maybe don't let and I swear this isn't a Taylor bashing fest. I'm actually a fan of Tom Taylor, but
Mhm.
I don't know if he was the best guy to carry John's story forward after
Yeah.
Bendis was no longer at DC. I understand he's a hot name at DC. I get all that, but Taylor can be kind of preachy at times.
Mhm.
And if you're already changing or revealing something more about the character's sexuality, you're probably going to want a writer who already doesn't have attack dogs on him from a bunch of different groups,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be the nutcases on comics Twitter, whether it be conservatives, whether because he's talks about more liberal based stuff. Um, so I don't think maybe he was the necessarily the best writer to shepherd that forward with John. Now I understand Mainz. I don't think was really doing anything with DC then. So yeah, she wouldn't have been one you gone to, but it seems like they're letting her steer his development
Mm-hmm.
right now, and I think that's a net positive right
Mm-hmm.
now. So I think you just got to roll with the punches at this point. Like, yeah, John went through a couple years essentially in the wilderness narratively, but it seems like they're doing interesting things with him now. So no, I don't agree with de-aging him at this point.
Word, and yeah, Tevye, well, yeah, don't worry. Everything you're saying, Tevye, don't worry. I'm gonna address. Don't worry. I'm gonna address in mine if AJ hasn't already. So I don't. I'm pretty sure I've said it here, or maybe it was on Authority or whatever. But I did not have the attachment that everybody had to Jon Kent. I read the first couple issues of what is it, Tomasi Superman. I thought it was, oh, this is sweet. This is cool. I
Mm-hmm.
do like that, in the background. Oh, yeah, hold on. This kid might be a problem. All right, cool. But they didn't really delve too much into that. You know what I'm saying? So I lost interest. I think maybe around like issue maybe 7 or 8. I think it was shortly after he met Damien for the first time. I pieced out because what other book had my attention, and that book I will sing its praises, and I'm
Okay.
waiting for the omnibus. Jurgens' Action Comics Rebirth.
Yeah.
That
Oh, that
shit,
was a good time.
that shit blew whatever the fuck Tomasi was doing out the water. I'm not sorry. That was the book that it did a good job of making me fall in love with Superman, and it also did a good job of getting me to understand what happened with the New 52. It was just a perfect book for somebody new like me. Like, Action Comics was the book of the Superman line back then, and till this day, that is a top 5 Superman book for me. Top 5. And I just reread it recently. DC, I need that omnibus, please. I'm itching my neck. Please give it to me. So I stopped caring, right? The other time that I cared for Jon Kent was it was the Supersons of Tomorrow crossover with Teen Titans, when he tried to have him join, but then it was like, no, you can't join, and then that whole some timey-wimey shit happened, whatever. And then I was like, all right, cool, but they're not letting him join the Teen Titans, whatever, don't care. So when he got aged up, I was like, oh, he just got aged up. I was like, cool. And again, I didn't know Bendis. I knew of Avengers Bendis. I was still warming up to Superman Bendis, which we all know. We all knew what happened with that. But
Mhm.
when it happened, I was just like, oh, okay, whatever, because I didn't have an attachment to John, and I didn't. It took me maybe about a year or so to realize, oh shit, because I wasn't really in the comic book community like that. But then a year later, I was like, oh damn, motherfuckers are pissed. God damn, shit. Maybe Tomasi was cooking over there. But I understand what he was doing with John. I understand why people resonate, especially after what you said, AJ. Like, that was kind of like some new life. Batman had his kid, Superman had his kid. They going on adventures together. It was cute. I understand that from that point. So, but even then, I was like, all right, whatever. He could do fuck off for all I care. Whatever. If he pops up in a book that I watch, or excuse me, that I'm reading, great. If not, I don't care. So the idea of him being de-aged just never bothered me, right? So I was fine with Jon Kent just being Jon Kent at this point. Cool. Now, this is just like AJ when I knew we can never go back. And this is where I agree. Maybe the whole bisexuality thing, that probably wasn't the best move. Because this was a time when DC was fetching for headlines. We can say it. We can say it. We can say it. They were fetching for headlines. They were fetching for headlines. And we saw what happened. That book, the first 2 issues, it did great. Selling out like hotcakes. But what happened? Taylor couldn't tell a compelling story to save his life. So while the book still sold well, the book still sold, but the sales dropped. It dropped. Personally, at that point, I would have taken Taylor off the board. I would have hoped Nicole Maines would have been the Nicole Maines of today.
Right.
To take over right after Taylor did his first one on Son of Color. But what did they do? They gave it back to him and they teased us. I'm thinking, all right, cool. He's going to encounter Injustice Superman or Ultraman. And okay, cool. Maybe we can start to get that grit that, they've been teasing. It's almost as if that's what they were going to do. And then last minute editorial was like, no. So you have that, the bisexuality thing. And then you have what they did with Taylor. I was just like, yo, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then to go back to the bisexuality thing, you can't unring that bell because say what you want, because of that status quo shift, that's a part of Jon Kent's identity. DC received so much press from that. They received so much attention, so much backlash, whatever have you. That is part of Jon Kent. So what's going to happen if you DH him? What's going to happen? I don't think you can write yourself out that hole. I'm sorry. Unless I'm wrong, you can't write yourself out that hole. Now you're going into tricky territory. So that's when I said, you know what? For sure now they can't DH him. Then, like we just said, so much had happened, on top of that. And whether it was good or bad. So now at this point, Jon got aged up in what, 2019? We are in 2025.
Yeah,
I just looked. We are in 2025 at this point. If you don't care for Jon Kent at this point, if you are that pissed off, it's as simple as just not picking up the book. It's that simple.
Wait, hold on. It happened in 2019?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was toughest since 2018. But yeah.
6 years ago. They're like 7 years ago. This happened.
Yeah.
And people were still yapping about it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, sure. I mean,
he was. Yeah. So cool. We in 2025 right now, right? And then also, I'm gonna be objective here, right? Because like I said, I wanted to just come here and tell Jon Kent fans to just get the fuck over it. I had half a mind to do that, but I'm also gonna throw blame on DC because they've been doing. They did the. I put out a video a couple years ago about DC, how they were wishy-washy with Batgirl. They didn't know if she was gonna be Oracle or if she was gonna be Batgirl. Pick a fucking lane. Pick a fucking lane. As much as I don't like Batgirl stands, I can understand a little bit of the frustration there. But I think what DC did with Jon Kent, I can understand the frustration there because they aged him up, right? But also at the same time, they kept giving Jon Kent fans false hope. because they had Tomasi and Jimenez come back and do a whole slew of Supersons books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, recently, I think it was like about a year or two ago, you had Jeremy Adams on the Flash bring back the Supersons for one issue. Then, like Tevi is talking about, they just did some shit with Shazam where you had young Jon Kent. So now, as much as I want to tell Jon Kent fans to shut the fuck up, it's not fair for me to tell them to shut the fuck up because DC keeps giving them false hope. You see what I'm saying? And then also, let's toss this in here as well, right? Dark Crisis. Remember that one random one shot? It was because Superman was trapped in his world and in his own little Superman bubble, and then it was something about him missing John's childhood. King wrote it. King wrote it. It went up under the radar.
That's right.
So you have all that, right? I personally think still to this day that DC, the ship has sailed for Jon Kent, but at this point, if you are gonna stay with Jon Kent, stop reminding them of the old Jon Kent. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. I don't want to see Jon Kent as a little boy in Shazam. I don't want to see Clark reminiscing on old times anymore. I don't want to see Jeremy Adams or whoever go to some different world and bring back. I don't want to see it. If you want people to stop the backlash, put your big boy pants on and make a move and stick to it. Because you know what else happened right around the time when Jon Kent got aged up? Alfred got his neck fucking snapped.
I am still to this day shocked that they have not unrung that bell yet.
But here's what DC did. They didn't go back and was like, oh, remember when Alfred was alive? No.
Well, I'm not gonna say that. You got a bunch of fucking stories. Yeah, they're like one shots of stuff, or not minis, but with Alfred as kicking alive and kicking. Like
it's like it's flashbacks. Now. It's like, and then I think Batman versus Robin. Right. We thought he was alive, but he wasn't. But the point I'm trying to make with that is just like Batman, with the Batman family, we saw them progress because of Alfred being dead, right? Look at what happened with Nightwing. Nightwing done transformed Bloodhaven on behalf of the money Alfred left for him. Damian,
I got a problem with that, but we're not, like I said, we're not going to.
Yeah, Damian pretty much sabotaged the Teen Titans and said, "Fuck y'all," over what happened with Alfred, and then he's been on a run since then. We don't get that stellar Williamson's Robin run, which was still I think that's like that might be a top 10 run. We don't get that if Alfred isn't dead. Look at everything that happened with Bruce. Look at everything that happened with, like Barbara and everybody else. Because DC decided, despite AJ just said, the couple of times they brought it up, but the quality of the writing since then, it propelled. The problem with that is just like, ever since Jon Kent got aged up, it's been so stagnant, and now we're starting to see it up on an upswing. Versus if they actually were consistent after he got aged up, I don't think we'd be here. If the writing was good, we'd be fine. Now, I like Nicole Maines. Like I said, me and AJ and Quintin, we're gonna sing Nicole Maines' praises because she needs praise. She deserves the praise. What I think would satisfy people is if, all right, let's just say after this, Jon Kent is in a place where we could actually see some growth. I think people's anxiety would be a little alleviated if like a bigger name writer was to pick up that piece right there, maybe properly address the age up and then do some wild shit with Jon. You know what I'm saying? Address what happened in a good, meaningful way, and then we take that and we propel Jon. But as for taking him and bringing him back down to just a kid, what's the point? So what? Just so he can fuck around with Damian again? Because that's the only thing I see. We're going to have that conversation too. Every single time people talk about de-aging Jon, the first is, let's do Supersons again. Bro, there's a whole Omni. AJ got it. The
Thick
Omni's
boy
of the
Omni too.
thick boy Omni. Like, are we talking like Infinite Crisis thick, or are we talking like the first half of Grant Morrison thick?
Like Longbow Hunters Part 1 thick.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
Okay.
What was it? What was that? Like 150? $150? Something like that?
Yeah, it was up shit. Let me see. I might still be able to find it. It
Chump change for a guy
pricey.
like you.
Nah. We're not doing that
Good
tonight.
job. Good job, Steph. Good job, Steph.
Oh, you better not say nothing, bro.
Good job, Steph.
Yeah, glass houses, bro. You can't say shit.
Hey, we're not doing it. Yo, have y'all seen age? All right, bro. All right, we're not doing this right now. But listen, the point I'm trying to make is that there's a big, thick boy Omni of Damian and Jon running around. Go pick it up and then run it back again. Because there's no way you're going to run through that whole entire Omni in one sitting. That's enough content. That should give you about, that's like, what, if you read it, because maybe it's like maybe a month or two to get through that whole entire thing, right? So you have
888 pages. Good.
You got 800. Oh, hold on. Does that include the stuff that Tomasi did after?
Because
I know
they did a reprint, so that second edition I've got the first.
Okay.
So if that's the case, then the second edition will be longer than the first one.
Okay. So, because for me, and this is where I'll entertain it, y'all got to give me something more than just doing Supersons again. We can't do that again. Damian has grown. And on that note, we need to stop having conversations about bringing the Teen Titans back too. All right? It's not happening. Give it up. Pack it up. Teen Titans not coming back. DC can't do Teen Titans. And again, DC did Supersons already. So somebody has to give me something better than just, I want Jon Kent to go back just to fuck around with Damian. Because Damian, he don't got time for that no more. Damian don't got time for that. Damian just went on a grand journey to Lazarus Island. He's back. He's on good terms with his dad. Why the fuck should he be hanging out with Jon anymore? Why? Can somebody give me a compelling reason why? No, thank you.
Not at this point. They're in two different places in their lives wise. Like I said, Damian's debating whether or not he even still wants to be. I mean, he's already said he don't want to be Robin, but he's debating, whether or not he wants to be a hero at all. I just think they're in two very different places. And you really haven't seen much of their friendship in the past few years. I think there was a issue when he came back right after he had gotten aged up, and
dude, they barely interacted in Dark Crisis.
Yeah,
barely. It was more just like, oh, hey, what you doing over there? I'm doing this. You doing that? Bye. That's all it was.
That sums it up pretty well.
That's all it was. So it can't just be them doing this again. Now, Tevye said, what about Jon Kent and his little 10-year-old self reunite with Kathy, aka Beacon, his friend? All right, so where's the long term? So is it just Jon Kent piling around with his little friends? Like, it for me, for this to work, it gotta be more than just Jon Kent running around doing shit. The universe has the universe is too different, bro. The universe, the landscape has changed for it to just be Jon Kent running around with the little kids.
I mean, even if they did do that, those kids wouldn't be the same age. They wouldn't be as old as John, but time has progressed in universe. Like we see Damien driving now, so he's what 16 at least, maybe 15 if you're just saying a learners, but so that's at least 2 to 3 years in universe time. I mean, when you're that young, bro, 2 to 3 years, you have a whole new friend group by that point.
Yeah. So it's like the only option DC has right now is just put him in a spot and actually commit to progressing him. Because I'm not mad at people saying, oh, I don't care about Secret Six, Jon Kent and Secret Six. But you would care if somebody like Williamson or Wade or Snyder came and say, you know what, hold on. I got an idea for this little nigga right here. I have an idea. Let's cook. You'll care. I guarantee you if they say DC Comics presents the war for Superson or some shit like that. Because he finally goes ape shit. We there. We there. We in attendance. And then Jeff says we never got to experience Jonathan Samuel Kent Superboy child. Bro, there's a whole Omni. To Peter Tomasi, we have to be fair here. I get it. The Tomasi run got cut short. I understand. Bendis is coming. That fucked up a lot of things. But did that too not have an omnibus? Didn't Tomasi Superman have an Omni too? If I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Tomasi Superman. Omnibus. All right. How much is that?
My fault. I was on mute. Yeah, he has one.
Oh, he got okay. And I'm pulling this up right now, right? Okay. What does this contain? What does this contain? Okay, it has Superman 1 to 25, 27, 28, 33 to 39, 42, 45, Superman Annual 1, Superman Rebirth 1, Superman Special 1, Action Comics 975 to 976, 1000, Supersons 11, 12, and Teen Titans 1975 and 9. Okay, I think it's fair to say, is that too not a good amount of time? On top of the Supersons Omni. I mean, the super, yeah. When you put both of those together, is that not a good amount of material? That's enough to feed a family and then some. So that's where I stand on this whole thing. All right, now, I want to say this. If you don't care about Jon Kent at this point, that's fine. There are plenty of other characters, and I'm not, and me, AJ, and stuff, we're not saying DC did anything. We're not agreeing 100% with his directions, right? But at some point, you gotta just get over it. You gotta get over it. Like we gotta get over it, y'all. Bendis is gone, but a lot of Bendis stuff is still staying around. So I have no idea how to satisfy. I think there was one theory I think we tossed around that I liked. Maybe the Jon Kent that's running around is not the Jon Kent that. Maybe the little boy's still there. Who knows? Maybe this is a clone. I don't know. But even then, it has to be written well. That's my only thing. But at the same time, we gotta let it go. We gotta let it go. At this point, I don't know what else DC could do to satisfy folk. Steph, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. It really just does stem from what you said before, where it's just like there's been like a lack of commitment. I feel like the name, right? Like, because this is Superman's like literal kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's just kind of like inherent stature to that. And I think there's probably a lot of stress when it comes to like how to do anything with him, just because of the fact that, like, you know, you're going to have people who, like, you know, are willing to sit down and like embrace an idea and then, like, you know, evaluate it on like its own terms or whatever. But there's also going to be people who are like, if you do something that they don't approve of, that they think that this character wouldn't do, or they think is inappropriate for like the brand or whatever, they just kind of immediately write it off, right? And I think like being Superman's kid is that, like, you know, again, there's like a stature to it where it's kind of like you do have to do it quote unquote correctly, where you do have to really think about how you approach him, and, you know, doing something that could be, you know, a mistake is, you know, something you can't really go back on. So this, you know, aging him thing, you know, it's probably one of those things where it's like they're scared of commitment, because then if they do something that people just kind of inherently don't approve of, they can't walk it back.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I think it really has gotten to the point where they just have to do something. And it's also just the fact that it's like, again, it's Superman's kid. You can't literally do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't know what to do, but they feel compelled to put him in stuff because his name is his name and his branding and his you know, his relation to, you know, like who he's related to and whatever. You know, it's kind of like you can't ignore him. They feel compelled to operate on this idea that, like, you can't ignore him. You have to do something, but they're also just too scared to do anything.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, it's like what you were saying. It's just like, you do just have to bite the bullet and do something and just commit to it and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. And, you know, you do have to just do something that you're not going to probably be able to walk back on, at least for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just the stress is getting to them, because like they're stuck in that position where they feel like they can't ignore him, but they're getting cold feet whenever they do anything. Because it's just, you're fucking up these superheroes' kid. That's like a big, you know, optics wise, that's a big fuck up. Right. And yeah, I think it's just past time. It sounds like, at least, where they gotta just grit their teeth. They gotta just bite the bullet and, you know, make a big sweeping change, and just see how it goes. And if it works out, then it works out. And if it doesn't,
it doesn't.
Then it doesn't. I don't know.
And there's nothing wrong with, let's just say, let's put this out there. Let's just say Secret Six, the whole thing, it doesn't work out, which I doubt, because I think the whole thing with Secret Six will work out. But let's just say it doesn't work out. It's okay if we just don't, if Jon is just regulated as a background character.
Yeah.
At least then, young Jon Kent fans won't be, they won't be agitated every single time something new comes out. He's just in the background. Whenever it's time for the Superman family to get together, hey guys, I'm here. And then that's it. We don't have to, not every single character needs to have, you know, something going on. Look what happened to Tim Drake. We ain't see shit from him, except when it's time for the Bat family to come together. And look at the years that he had. That's fine. It's okay. Things happen. But I do want to address this. What about Wally West? Didn't we have the exact same situation with him a long time ago? Yeah, we did. He accidentally, or he got influenced to murk a bunch of people, and yeah, more or less the same thing. There needs to be a coordinated effort, right, to progress. There was a coordinated effort to progress from Wally. After Heroes in Crisis, we had Flash. Well, hold on.
You also had much more people bitching and moaning on the internet about Wally direction after Heroes in Crisis, which I still maintain was, I'm not gonna say fine, but it wasn't the end of the world like some people wanted
Yeah.
to be. You could have redeemed the character without saying, "Oh no, Wally would never do that. Here's why it wasn't him." All right, fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
Like and even then that took a while because
Years, bruh. Like,
it okay, the Wally West thing, right? I liked Flash Forward. I liked what Scott Lobdell did with Flash Forward, and then I liked like where he ended up at the end of like Death Metal, and I like what Jeremy Adams ended up doing. But the problem with the Wally West stuff was just like there was so many unnecessary. Like one day it was Wally freaked out, had a mental crisis, and killed somebody. Then the next time we revisited, oh, it was Thawne who was in his ear. Then the next time they were doing too much. Oh, what was it? Savitar. What
they
was the
kept
one
going back to that well over and over and
you
over and
like?
over, bruh.
It didn't need that, right? And what we got, Flash Forward was fine.
Mm-hmm.
What Jeremy Adams initially did was fine. And the same thing just needs to happen with Jon. Or just again, keep him here and then you go on from there. Because right now, I think a lot of things people are not realizing, bro. When you make somebody an icon like you did for Jon, this like they made him a bisexual icon. When you de-age him, it don't matter which if you think there's gonna be backlash or not. DC is scared of optics, y'all. The big two are scared of optics.
Mm-hmm.
They are scared. They are not gonna walk. It's not as easy as just like it's not as easy as walking it back. My brother has hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second, y'all. Apologies.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. AJ is here. I just gotta let my mic. Okay. Cool. All right. Now we got Quintin in the room. But yeah, it's not as easy as just tossing it back. Quintin, we're talking about should Jon Kent fans let go of de-aging. Give us your quick thoughts because I know you at the gym or I mean you at a game right now.
Yeah, I mean, game is done, but I'm doing like wrapping up the senior night stuff. So if you hear some kids in the background running around, that's what you're talking about. But it's not gonna be hard to put the metaphoric genie back in the bottle because you attach them to a certain fan base. If you're being honest, and if they're gonna feel like betrayed if you wipe it away, erase what we built so far, right? So I don't think you're gonna get that. I think you might well just enjoy the Super Twins at this point. Enjoy the small moments like the Shazam issue you got this week or last week. Enjoying those small moments like that are probably gonna be all that you really get. I mean, maybe maybe 10 years, 20 years from now, you could do some kind of de-aging thing if they don't do nothing with them. But I think as in presently constructed DC universe, you kind of got to keep Jon Kent where he's at, and explore a different path for him, similar to like what we've already we've discussed privately. But now that's really my quick rundown on that.
Yeah, man. So thank you for popping through, brothers. It's good to see. I'm glad you were able to make it.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop off. I just wanted to speak, and then or I'll mute myself. I'll just listen, and then I'll stay and listen.
All right, word.
But yeah, y'all go ahead and cook.
All right, yeah. Hold on. Who else also got a kid running around here?
What that means?
Oh, hold on. You have to mute yourself, brother.
A few hours ago, before the game started.
Oh, they didn't mute?
No, I didn't mute. We still hear you. But we still hear you, brother.
That's weird. Okay, it's saying it's mute.
All right, brother. Yeah. So yeah. So Quentin just gave his quick thoughts, but yeah. So at this point, I don't know what we could do. I don't know what we can do. Um, there's so much content that's out there, and they even were nice enough to throw. I forgot about that Supersons movie that came out. How many years ago was that? It's like
I,
two
I
years
forgot all
ago.
about that too. Yeah, man, y'all got a whole movie out of it. Now that I
They
think
got a
about
movie,
it,
bro.
you know
They
how
got a
many characters
movie.
don't get new films, whether it's animated or not, is irrelevant. Dog. Y'all got a movie
I
out
got
of
a
it.
movie. A movie, bro. Shit.
I forgot all about that. Y'all got omnis, movies, all
Bro.
that shit. Man, if y'all don't take that and run,
What? Hey, yo, that's more than Tim Drake got when he turned bisexual. Hey, how many issues did that shit last, bro? 6?
5 or 6, one of them. Like,
Yo,
but that also speaks to them not having plans with stuff, man. Like here's the if y'all come up with any new status quo change for a character, okay, give me your 5-year plan after.
Yeah, bro.
You might not even be the one writing it, but yo, I need to know that we have a roadmap that we want this character to follow. Because Tim Drake is, yeah, bro, the last few years, now that I think about it, first off, they ended my Robin run for that shit, which, all right, fine, whatever. But then you gave him 5 issues, and I'm tripping. Tim's run lasts about 10 issues. I'm tripping, but still, this is at one point. Well, many people still consider him the most popular Robin. Had a run over that one, I think, over 200 issues or 200 issues between two runs between his Robin and Red Robin runs, but still. He can't even. You don't even have enough of a plan to get him to 12 issues now. Like, all right,
his first issue didn't even make it in the top 50, bro.
yes, it seems like I remember that.
Oh,
You know how hard it is for a new number one to pull that off,
bro. At least, yo, listen, yo, say what you want about John, bro. At least almost every single book that John has been in since the age
all
of
his issues were in the top.
they were in the top 50 to 100, bro.
Yeah.
So you say what you want. I get it, y'all mad, but hey, bro.
But also, as much shit as people give Tom Taylor, he's a much better writer than Megan Fitz.
Oh, of course, 100%.
Martin,
yeah. So it was like, hey, bro.
90 day writing abilities.
So yeah. So I think we do have. I think there is somewhat of a plan here with mains. And I'm willing at this point. I'm willing to see what happens. If I'm one of like the few people that's checking it out, that's fine. I have no problem. I'm gonna enjoy the story for what it is at this point. Like, my 5-year plan is simple, really. Have this imposter Jonathan Kent be fake, and the real Jon Kent supervise his 10-year-old self be saved from this imposter, and boof, problem solved. But what the thing is, okay, but what next?
Not just what next. The rest of the universe. If you're bringing him back as he's 10 years old, the rest of the universe has moved past that, right? It's been at least 2 to 3 years of in-universe time has passed in DC, and that's on the small end, right? So now Damian and John aren't going to be in similar spots in their lives. There was already a bit of an age gap with them when they first started the run. Now that age gap's going to be even bigger.
Hold on. Nightwing. He was palling around with Nightwing for a while. That dynamic gonna change.
Yeah, that goes away. If he's still hostage, like, okay, that's a shit ton of trauma he's got to deal with, that we still got to deal with the Ultraman stuff. Then it tells you that the Jon Kent who's been here is a fuck up because he couldn't even, like, he hugs Ultraman, flies off, and then apparently leaves a kid with him. So yeah, a lot of stuff does not work if you bring him back, unless you're resetting the entire universe back to that point. Things don't really work out cleanly. I'm not gonna say you can't do it, it's just gonna be plot holes all over the place, and
Yeah.
that's, it's gonna be a lot of bad writing.
And also too, it's like the only way I could see this working, like, not even the universe. Okay, then if DC was to do a hard reset, I mean, I'm not talking no Dawn of DC. I'm talking like hard. Everybody starts from zero.
And they're not doing that again. Even
Boom.
though I like New 52, but yeah, they're not doing that again.
Or better yet, if this absolute stuff goes well, who's to say we can have a Jon Kent in the absolute universe?
I could see it, but
That's what man's really young
because
too.
all of them are so young in the
Yeah.
absolute universe right now. Like,
Okay,
I mean, with the exception of Diana, like Bruce is
early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Clark, I gotta assume, is similar.
Yeah, he's like 23 or something.
Yeah, I got to see where the hell Wally's going to be a teenager. It looks like.
Oh, yeah, never mind then.
Yeah, Wally's like 14.
Yeah. We'll see what the Green Lanterns feel like they're going to be the only ones who are in their right, let's say, air quotes, ages. Like, I think he said John. Well, no, even then, no, because he's making John older than he's supposed to be in main universe. I don't know what he's doing for Hal. Joe, I think she's going to be right there because Joe's like mid-20s in main universe, so I think that works out. We'll see.
Yeah. So
but,
I guess
I
not.
don't know if they could do it. You could do it. You would have to wait a few years unless you're going to do a time jump in the absolute universe.
Yeah, and I don't see them doing that either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So I don't know. And like I said, if they do it, which I don't see it happening, then I'm sorry. It has to be a big name writer and a writer who's gonna commit. Because let's just entertain the fact that it does happen, right? Let's just say they do DH, but then they just DH him, and then the stories after that are just like they're more or less of the same quality of the stuff that came right after Jon Kent's age up.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's gonna be, what was the point? Well, what was the point? Because the quality is just gonna be the same. It's just gonna be the kid. It's just gonna be he's gonna be a kid, right? Because I'll tell you right now, it's gonna be weird if Damien's just hanging out with him outside of an ensemble. Nightwing is grown. Nightwing got the Titans. Like when he's not with the Titans, he's clapping Barbara's cheeks. He don't got time for little Jon Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lois is now Superwoman and the editor of the Daily Planet. Clark, the Justice League is reformed, so Clark's back with League duties a lot. And not to mention, like we said earlier, Doomsday is a problem right now.
Lex is back. Lex is back. So
is not really a lot of space for a younger Jon Kent to fit in right now.
It's not. So again, we don't know. You can never say never, but I still think there's a way to honor and possibly probably close what came before. And you do a damn good job at it. Like, don't sugarcoat it. Don't give me no one shot. Like, address it. Make it heartfelt. I want to see Jon Kent. Like, I want to see, like, bro, his heart got to be on the floors. Like, yo, I miss being a kid that got taken away from me. I want to feel the pain. I want to feel the pain. Then, when we properly address it, then let's do a proper, okay, this is what we're going to do with Jon Kent moving forward as an older man. I think if there's I think the problem is that there wasn't closure. There wasn't closure. DC tried to do closure by giving y'all the little mini series after that, but that wasn't closure. Y'all need closure. That's the problem, right? We got our closure with recently with the box and Green Arrow. You can also say we
after so many
years, we got our closure with in a way you can say Alfred kind of we got closure from Alfred as well. I believe the what is it? The Alfred special was one of the best single issues I've ever read.
Mm-hmm.
That James Tynan wrote his fucking ass off. Like there needs to be closure. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing. Superson fans did not get closure. Like even when there was an issue of Superman's run where Damian and John met up again, but they just piled around. There wasn't. Maybe they addressed it, but I think people were just so pissed off at Bendis that they weren't going to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody just needs to address it and put a button on it. Because I think we're in consensus. They can't go back, and then we could move on. And then when you move on, you commit to progression. Because then, okay, why can't Jon Kent join the Justice League? Okay, if the Titans are still running around, he could have joined the Teen Titans for whatever reason. I think if done correctly, he could be a possible candidate for the Titans. Okay, all right. What else? I had another idea, but I completely just blanked. Oh, he could be a mentor to the two other super kids running around. We haven't seen them, Osu and Raw.
Yeah, that'd be a good spot.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have another Superman book or Superman family book. Let John take the lead. You could bring Supergirl. You could bring Connor. You could bring the two little ones. Because right now, there's not enough in action and there's not enough in Superman for any writer to hold all of them together.
You could do I mean, it's only been one issue so far, but essentially what we're seeing in Green Lantern Corps. So right now, getting all of the major lanterns together, you could do something like that for a super fan book.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to head out, fellas. My delivery driver just texted me. My food is about to be here.
No. It's all good. I think this is a good bookend. This is a good bookend. This is a good bookend.
Yeah, I was about to say I gotta go too.
Wait, no. But I won't waste y'all time with doing plugging and everything. But hey, listen, thank you guys to everybody who tuned in to this quick stream. We had to cover it. It was too hot not to. But no politics, just comics. I am hoping we can do it on Sunday so we could talk about Black in America, because it's me and AJ's duty to support Black in America. Stef doesn't have a choice but to support because he's just part of the gang at this point. So you don't have a choice. You have to go watch Black in America.
Okay.
So before we leave, everybody have a happy Valentine's Day. If you're gonna have sex, please use protection. Listen, I don't know the Gemini stuff. Whatever Geminis that could possibly pop up 9 years ago. If it's not cancer, I don't need y'all around. All right. If y'all not cancers, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. So wrap your shit up. You should have had sex a couple months ago so the kid could come around my birthday, but you missed the boat. So please use protection. Everybody, please be safe. Listen, much love, much peace. Ro, Steph, and AJ, we are out. Also, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. All right, peace.